And this is 2020. I've been waiting a year to do that. Most of y'all don't know what that means. You have to ask your parents or something. But tonight is our January 9, 2020 City Council meeting. Welcome. Tonight, our invocation and pledge will be led by Jalen Dixon. Jalen is the great-nephew of District 2 Councilwoman Nona Snoddy and is a junior this year at Longview High School. He recently moved from Longview from Dallas. Jalen, welcome. Please come forward. Please rise.
Okay. Hello, Mayor Mack, Council, Mr. Keith Bonds, and audience. Would you please bow your head for a word of prayer? Father God, we thank you for letting us be here today and celebrate our lives. We thank you for watching over us in this great city and to continue doing so. We pray that you instill the youth of today with the wisdom to be able to lead us into the future of tomorrow. We pray that also that you watch over our families and our community so that we can all stay healthy and happy. Thank you for always being here with us, and that we pray that you continue to bless us with your wisdom and grace. In the name of your Son, Jesus, we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Y'all say, I
Pledge allegiance
to the flag
of the
United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Jalen, thank you very much. Very eloquent, as I would expect coming from Ms. Snoddy. Tonight, in our employee recognition, we're recognizing Partners in Prevention mentoring program staff. Tonight, we're recognizing this program that started in 1996 as a pilot program in Longview and Pine Tree ISDs and now has 232 mentors working with mentees in the Longview, Pine Tree, Spring Hill, Hallsville, and Kilgore ISDs. Since starting, the Partners in Prevention staff have trained, coordinated, worked with, and celebrated more than 1,200 volunteer mentors who have averaged 7,500 hours annually in working with their mentees. The staff also are consistently seeking funding support for the program through writing grants and creating fundraising events. 2019 grant funding totaled $140,000. All those reports have to be written. Staff spends 155 hours weekly managing the mentoring program. Evaluation results, check this out. 85% of mentees report that because of being mentored, they believe that they have more options for their future. 82% of the mentees report they have higher expectations of themselves. 58% report their behavior in class is better. 85% report that because of mentoring, they think it's important to try and help others. 72% report they have a positive view for their future. So would Lyndall McAllister, Bonnie Hull, Kendra Tennyson, Whitney Pierce, and Patty Easton please come forward. Steve Vance was not able to attend. And Holly, but she wasn't on my list. Come on up, Holly. We know you're there. Come on up, ladies. Okay, if y'all didn't catch those statistics, that's staggering. Number one, the hours spent, the time spent, and the mentees that have gained from this program, because it's invaluable. Every parameter has a positive to it. And so through people such as yourselves who guide and direct this program, our children have a future, a chance at a future they would not have, they don't have a mentor in place. So please keep up the good work. You'll never be thanked enough, but you're making a difference in the lives of kids that will never be able to say thank you. So thank you so much. I say thank you. City of Longview says thank you. Appreciate y'all very much. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Come on, let's grab a picture real quick. Come on in. Yeah, come on up. She said short ones have told me to get in front. What's up with that? Yeah, come on in. Yes, go right over here. Round of applause for these wonderful women. Thank you so much. In our community recognition tonight, community recognition, it's a little unorthodox what I've done this week, but it's very deserved. I want to recognize one of our own. We are 9 days into Longview's 150th birthday celebration. Many organizations and hundreds of people have worked hard to make this celebration a success, but someone has to coordinate it all. Laura Hill is that someone. Laura is our Director of Community Services. Yes. She's Director of Community Services and chaired the Longview 150 Committee. She invited a number of individuals and organizations to the first meeting of the 150th Committee back in 2017. And they have met regularly for over 2 years leading up to where we are today. She has made many other presentations to plan events, secure sponsorships, coordinate dates, and ensure there were no scheduling conflicts. What we have ahead of us between now and May are numerous Longview 150 events, as Mr. Moore so eloquently lets us know about every time we have a meeting. Laura, I know you didn't do this all alone. There were many community people involved, but we thank you for your leadership, dedication from getting the ball rolling 2 years ago to where we are today, launching our birthday party. Please come forward. And I wish you all were sitting up here so you can see the surprise on the face of someone that has no idea she's here for this, and she comes to every meeting. So this was easy to do, but Laura does so many things, not just within the organization of the City of Longview, what she gets paid to do, but she spends countless hours outside this organization making sure things go right. She's as conscientious as any person you will ever come around, and she's as organized as they get. So Laura, you keep up the good work. You're doing a fantastic job. We love you, and we thank you for all that you do for Longview. You're the best. Thank you so much. Thank you. Sean, this one's Sean's idea, believe it or not. We are now to citizen comment. I have no speaker cards at citizen comment. We have a couple for the zoning aspect we'll get to then. So, public safety update. Chief Bishop.
Mayor Mack, council members, Mr. Bonds, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Since the last time we've met, we've had the opportunity to commission a new police officer within our police department. Samantha Thompson is a Hallsville, Texas native, and she come back to the East Texas area after serving for 5 years with the North Little Rock PD. So I want to welcome Samantha and a new addition to our department as well. We've also had the opportunity to do some promotions here recently. We promoted 2 officers to the rank of sergeant. Officer Nikki Casson and Ryan Gibson on the left were promoted to the rank of sergeant, and then Sergeant Seth Vanover was promoted to the rank of lieutenant as well. So want to congratulate them on their promotions and have them, enhance their careers and serve the department. We also had the opportunity today to visit with Longview 2020 class, put on a couple demonstrations, a K-9 demonstration. They wanted their picture taken with the K-9, but I wasn't able to find anybody that wanted to wrestle with the K-9, so we went with the picture. And then we were also able to provide them a SWAT demonstration to show them some of the equipment that we use in relationship to our SWAT team. With the start of the new year, this is the time that we start all our educational programs. Once again, we'll be having our Teen Academy. Any youth between the ages of 14 to 18 that are interested in attending our academy, this one will start January 20th. They can obtain a application at longviewtexas.gov/teen CPA, or they can contact Officer Roger Askew at 903-235-2170. This group will meet on Monday nights from 6 to 8 p.m. We'll also be starting our business academy that we do for our business owners and managers and supervisors. This will be a 9-month course that'll meet on the 3rd Wednesday of every month during the lunch hours from 11 to 1. And this course will begin on February 19th. Applications for this can also be located at longviewtexas.gov/police. And then on January 16th, we're going to host a public safety hiring event at Mod Cobb. This will run from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. The police department, public safety communications, and the fire department will have recruiters on hand for anybody that's interested in obtaining information. We'll have the ability for individuals to file an initial application and conduct preliminary interviews during this event for anybody that's interested in a career in public safety. So we'd like to invite anybody to come out and visit with us during this event. So I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions of Chief Bishop? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Chief Stillman.
Good evening, Mayor Mack, members of council, Mr. Bonds. Happy New Year. It's great to be back here in front of you in 2020. We're looking forward to a great year. Let's tell you about a few things that's going on in the fire department. First, we'd like to back up a little bit and thank our public that came out and supported our annual fire department toy drive that was held on December the 14th in the parking lot of the Longview Mall. Because of the efforts of the Longview community, we were able to provide toys for over 400 kids. The breakdown of that kind of went that 144 kids were represented by the Department of Family Protective Services, 150 kids for Neil McCoy's East Texas Angel Network, and then 22 kids from other local charities. And none of it would have been possible had the community not turned out in force like they did to support this worthy effort. So thank you for that. We too had the opportunity to do a promotional ceremony back in December. It's always, I've said it many times, this is one of the more exciting and funner things that I get to do as the fire chief is promote new people and turn a page and start a new chapter in the progression of their career in the Longview Fire Department. So I certainly want to give a quick congratulatory to David Thacker, who was appointed as Deputy Fire Marshal, Chris Jackson, who promoted to the rank of Fire Driver Engineer, Bill Freer, who promoted to the rank of Fire Driver Engineer, Tim Clanton, also Fire Driver Engineer, Jameson Butler was promoted to Lieutenant, Ramey Blaylock to Captain, John Eric Johnson to Battalion Chief, and Stephen Green to Assistant Fire Chief. And also not able to be there with us at the promotional ceremony were Marcus Delaney, who promoted to Lieutenant, and Ricky Norman, who promoted to Fire Driver Engineer. So we're looking forward to many great things and many more years from each one of these people as they help move our department forward. And on a similar note, on a sadder note, Battalion Chief Kevin Fowl has made the decision to retire from the fire department. Kevin has served the city for 32 years. He actually was one of the first employees of the EMS when it was operated by Laterno University and transitioned into the fire department through that pathway. Kevin is actually a former Fire Academy classmate of mine. We're going to miss him. We certainly wish him well. We're going to be hosting a celebratory occasion on the 23rd at the Fire Department Training Center at 411 American Legion Boulevard from 2 to 4. And it's open to the public. And if you've ever run around Kevin or had any encounters with him, we certainly hope you'll come out and share in a farewell to him and share some stories if you like. But we wish him well in his upcoming retirement. Space heater safety, I'll keep talking about this. We continue to see problems as we have periods of colder weather, so we certainly want to encourage people to plug those directly into the wall, keep them 3 feet away from any combustibles in the house, and make sure that you turn them off when you leave. These are a leading cause of structure fires here in the city, especially during the colder months that we see from November to February. Along with that, carbon monoxide safety. We've already began making some calls for carbon monoxide issues that people are having in their homes because they're using gas-fueled appliances for heating or other purposes. So we highly encourage you, if you do not have one, to get a carbon monoxide detector installed in your home so that it will alert you in the event that those levels begin to rise. There is an adjoining county that just experienced a fatality from carbon monoxide, and it's not uncommon for us occasionally to have fatalities here in the city, so we certainly want people to be safe. We realize people have to do whatever they need to do to stay warm, but make sure that those gas-fueled appliances are operating properly and that those flames are burning as cleanly as possible, and all the ventilation things are in place to make sure that you're doing that as safely as you can. Mass notification. So we've been operating under a process called Code Red for several years. You've heard me get up here and talk about it ad nauseum. We are changing the process of that. Actually, it is changing for us. That is a service that is sponsored through the East Texas Council of Governments. They have gone with a new vendor. So we're in the process of a transition from Code Red to another service. And we're going to call it Emergency Notification. That's going to be the name of it. And you can, if you want to learn more about it, Code Red is still operational, and it will continue to be to mid-February. So no urgent change. Don't run out tonight and worry about changing. But as you learn more about this and as the city pushes more information out, we certainly advise you to be aware that you will probably need to go in and renew and subscribe with another provider so that we make sure that you're getting those emergency notification phone calls when the need arises. You can find out more about that at Longview Texas / I'm sorry, I wrote that down in a Longview Texas.gov/alerts. And there's a starting point there that will help kind of talk you through the process. And again, as more information is made available through the ETCOG, we will make sure that we continue to push that out through our different media outlets. And there's another slide that I should have switched to in the middle of all that that tells all that stuff that I was trying to find. So just be aware, we just want the public to know to make sure that they're staying on top of this as this change develops. Our EMS subscription program has closed for the year, so we thank the people that took advantage of that again. Our numbers right now, preliminary, we're staying about the same. We certainly want people to be aware that this is a service, and when those sign-up periods are open, to take advantage of that if you choose it, something that could benefit your household. And with that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any questions of Chief Stillman?
So we have to be proactive in switching over to the new emergency notification.
Yes.
It's not-
You'll tell us when it's active?
Yes, we will push that out through some media pushes. If you're signed up for Code Red currently, we'll probably be using Code Red to send out notifications on that service to say, hey, it's time to switch over to the new service once everything is up and running. I would also like to say that we are expecting some potentially dangerous weather tomorrow night through the overnight period, so we certainly encourage our residents to stay alert and be aware. The forecast right now and the models they continue to get a little bit worse every time as this thing gets closer, of extremely high winds, hail, and they're not ruling out the possibility for tornadoes. So we certainly know what that looks like. We just encourage our citizens to pay attention and be aware and stay safe.
Thank you, Chief. Y'all
Thank
had a busy couple of weeks.
Thank you, Mayor.
Hope it's not too busy the next couple of days. Thank you so much. We're on a consent agenda. Any items council like pulled off for separate discussion?
B.
Sir?
B.
Item B, okay. Other than item B, is there any other discussions?
Move to approve the remainder.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Mr. Purtle, item B.
Yes, ma'am. I wanted to ask Ms. Cohen a little bit about this.
Yes, sir.
Explain it to me now.
Paymentus. It is,
I've read it, I've read everything on it, but I'm not sure about these fees and stuff that we're going to be strapping on.
actually, it's a service that we have right now. And we are looking at, we've gone in and we've renegotiated the fees. And we're looking at approximately about a $40,000 savings with what we've
Okay.
actually done.
Now, what are the fees incurred from?
They are our IVR system, and if you want to get technical, I've got Justin here for
Yeah.
that. But it's our IVR system. It is with water utilities. It's our system that actually does the call-outs. You can call in and do payments for your water utilities. You can go online, make the payments, that kind of stuff.
So how do we get charged for that? I mean, why does not the customer pay for that if they pay by a credit card?
We have to pay the merchant fees, and then we have to pay someone, it's Gateway, to actually do the transactions. We could actually charge back, but what we're looking at right here is an absorbed fee model. And if we were to actually charge the citizens back or the customers back, we'd have to look at a different fee model. And that's through MasterCard, Visa.
But that's only for people that use their credit cards to pay us then.
Yes.
Well, why don't we do that instead of the citizens as a whole absorbing that cost?
We would have to probably go up with, right now, it would be close to $2. And that would be a process we'd have to go through the budget and make it part of the fee resolution. And that
That would
is an
just-
option.
that would just
We could
be
do that,
for
but we
the-
would have to end up looking at a different model. And that probably would go up. Right now, it's 2.65% of transaction, and we cut the actual dollar amount by 81 cents. And so that's going to, like I said, that'll give us about a $40,000 savings. If we looked at it again, those fees would probably go up by, I think they told me $2.
But those fees would only be charged to the person using the cards, right?
We'd have to charge that out to them, yes. But we'd still have to pay because that's going up. So it depends on how much you'd want to charge to a customer. So right now, we're having to pay $1.50 and then 50 cents. So we could charge that back, but those fees would go up by $2 if we didn't do this absorbed fee model.
Just to the customers that use the cards?
Yes. But we'd still have to pay. We're still going to have to pay this fee.
But why aren't we not charging the customer to pay that fee then?
We can charge them. It's something we'd have to go through and have a discussion on if we wanted to do that.
I mean, when I use a credit card to pay something online, I pay the fee, and I understand that, and that's part of the bill, but I don't think I should penalize the citizens as a whole to pay something that, how many credit cards do we get? What percentage of the credit cards pay the water bills?
Right now, we have 67,000 transactions that have come through. That's for a year.
For a
So there's
year.
a lot of transactions, yes.
Then it's costing us how much to do that?
It was 113,000 for that year.
Okay, I just think that we ought to, the people that use the convenience ought to pay for it, is what I think. I mean, I don't see why people that don't use it should have to pay for it. So, anyway, okay, you explained it to me.
Are we moving forward with item B?
I make a motion, we pass it.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Y'all look at me funny. We good? Huh?
We haven't voted on it.
We just did.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. We had a motion and a second.
Well, it's a motion to pass.
All in favor?
Right?
Huh?
Aye.
Oh, to approve it,
To approve it.
not to pass it or
Yes.
table it. Okay, sorry.
To approve it, right? Your motion was to pass it.
Yes.
Okay.
You mean voting for it?
Just like we did with the other.
Right. Okay. We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Very good. Okay, we have an election item. Consider an ordinance calling a general election on May the 2nd to fill expired terms of council members for City Council Districts 3 and 4. Ms. Shepherd.
I make a motion to pass that one.
Thank you, Mayor, council members, Mr. Bonds. Before you this evening, we have an ordinance calling for a general election to be held May 2nd, 2020. This would be for council seats for districts 3 and 4. Filing for these will open next Wednesday, which will be January 15th, closing February the 14th. That's on a Friday. Our early voting will be here at City Hall. That will be April the 20th through the 28th. I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Any questions, Ms. Shepherd?
Move to approve.
Second it.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Now to zoning, a public hearing held to consider application Z19-12. Ms. Choi.
Thank you, Mayor Mack, members of council, and Mr. Bonds. The applicant is requesting to rezone the south 40 feet of lots 16, 17, and 18 of Northcutt Heights subdivision located on the south side of Northcutt Avenue, east of High Street, for a proposed expansion of his business. The applicant owns the business that is situated to the south of these properties, facing Marshall Avenue, located at 109 West Marshall. He does not have enough space to park the vehicles that he currently works on. As you can see in this aerial that I'm going to, he is parking along the alleyway. Our code division received some complaints that this gentleman was parking along the alleyway, and so our code compliance division has been working with this property owner to get his, and currently his cars are not located in the alleyway right now. But in order for him to acquire more space, he acquired the lots to the north of him. And with that expansion, he will need to rezone this property. He is only requesting the rezone of a portion of the property, the south 40 feet of these lots. Planning and Zoning Commission recommends approval with a stipulation that an 8-foot fence be installed within this buffer, within the buffer area. That'd be along the north property line on that north, on that lot, in lieu of a 6-foot buffer, which is what is required by code. So Planning and Zoning Commission did make that request for an 8-foot fence in lieu of the 6-foot fence, and I would be happy to answer any questions at this time.
This requires a public hearing which is now open. I have 2 speaker cards on this. Ms. Sherian Wilburn.
Good evening, Mayor, council members, Keith Bonds. Again, my name is Sherry Wilburn. I mailed information to each of the council members, and I hope you had time to review those. I realize I did not include my phone number because I had planned to be here today to speak. My family property is located at 106 Northcutt, which is adjacent to the property that is proposed for rezoning. It is a home that my family bought and paid for, that our family members can reside as needed. I personally feel that rezoning a portion of our neighborhood from single-family to heavy commercial would adversely affect our neighborhood in several ways, increasing the traffic, the volume of noise, and it may cause runoff drainage issue that I made a copy of on number 5. It would also, I feel, decrease the property value of our homes. I'm asking that you please consider our request and deny that rezoning. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Elizabeth Graham?
Good afternoon. My name is Elizabeth Graham, and I reside at 109 Northcutt. I'm here representing the residents and homeowners on Northcutt Street, which is a quiet neighborhood. We're against granting this because the owner plans to put a used car lot on this property, and by changing this to heavy commercial, he can put whatever he wants, be it a used car, a truck, a wrecker, or whatever he desires to put on it when you do it in heavy commercial. It would give him the right to, when he does all this, it's going to increase traffic, noise. You can put up a fence, but that's not going to deter the noise or the traffic. If you use cars there, you're going to have more foot traffic as well as noise, people looking at these cars and whatever. We own our homes there, and we strive to keep them up. We keep our lawn, everything taken care of. And if you do this, this puts a property 110 foot from my front door. And would you like a used car lot across the street from your home at this time? He doesn't even live in Longview, this Mr. Rabini. He lives in Mesquite, so he has no regard for the residents living on this property, on this street. So my husband and I have lived in this location for over 50 years. We've not had any problem whatsoever, and we don't want to change our neighborhood into something like this that would cause extra traffic, noise, and et cetera. So I ask you again not to grant this request by him. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. The public hearing is still open. Council, any discussion on this?
Mayor,
Mr. Wade, please.
First, I want to thank Mrs. Graham and Ms. Wilburn for coming up today. I had an opportunity to view that area over there and understand very seriously their concerns. My question is for Ms. Choi or Mr. Shirley, either or. One of the concerns that we're having is ultimately rezoning this to heavy commercial is going to be the noise effect is one of the major concerns. Is there any way that this can be rezoned without the heavy commercial?
Unfortunately, the gentleman, his business requires heavy commercial zoning. So if you rezone it to anything other than heavy commercial, he's not going to be able to utilize it for what he's doing at his current site.
But my understanding is he's going to be rezoning this just to park cars, correct?
To park the cars that he is working on, yes, sir.
Is he here tonight with us? No?
I don't know. Yes, the gentleman is here.
What is the business, might I add?
You do automotive repair, is that correct? Yes, sir. And sales, yeah. Yeah, come on up to the microphone so you can explain.
Good afternoon.
Hi, how are you?
Hi. My nature of business is a car lot. We sell the car, and we also repair the car we sell before we sell. And it's a very quiet neighborhood, and we keep it quiet most of the time. Car just parking there after we repair it and just waiting for buyer. That's it. And it's been I'm here almost 4 years, and I'm pretty sure my business is very quiet. And I have few complain about tree cleaning and stuff like that, but other than that, about noisy, I have no problem with that nature of my business. Thank you.
Mr. Wade, can you please? Thank you,
Sure.
sir. You may sit down.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
When he says that there's no,
Hold on.
Okay.
Come up so we can all hear, please.
when he says that
Oh,
there's no.
wait.
Okay.
Come to the microphone. There you go.
Okay.
Speak away.
When he says there's no noise, there is noise. He is working on those cars outside, not inside his building. Like I say, I live across the street, I observe. He's working on those cars outside, on that property, which is noisy.
Okay.
And that's not supposed to be happening. So,
Thank you.
thank you.
Okay. Mr. Wade, you have to continue.
May I add, I'm sorry to interrupt, but we're barely working outside, and I don't know why they are so frustrated with me. Anytime I move outside, or I bring the car from there, and they come outside and look at me what I'm doing, and they call law enforcement on me, so I do something wrong. And when the law enforcement come in there, they don't see nothing wrong, so they just pack and leave. And I never work outside. Sometimes, yeah, if I have a flat tire, the car I bought in the auction is not rolling inside my shop, I had no choice. I gotta go over there, take the tire out, put the spare tire in there to be able to push it in. That's the time maybe they see me outside working. But other than that, I mean, I have a lift, I have equipment, I need to have it to work on the car. I'm not working outside. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Mayor Mack.
Yes, Mr. Wade, continue.
This property and this issue is in my district, and I've had a chance to meet with everyone. I'd like a little bit more time to speak with city staff. And so at this moment, I'd like to make a motion that we table this until our February meeting.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. We shall table it till then. Thank you, Mr. Wade. And I know you'll do your due diligence, and we'll come back and resolve this in our next meeting.
Thank you, sir.
How's that? Thank you, sir. We will now consider a resolution awarding a contract and authorizing and directing the city manager and designate the necessary documents with Leland Bradley Construction. Mr. Karen.
Good evening. The Parks Master Plan and Comprehensive Plan was adopted in 2015. The second highest priority in that plan was the continued expansion of our trail system. So in this past year, LeadCo provided the funding to complete Phase 1, which extended north at 4th Street, connecting to Cargill Long Park, down to Delwood and Aiken Park. And as you can see, it opened I believe in October is when we opened that up. So now we're ready for phases 2 and 3. And in phases 2 and 3, the city applied for a grant with TxDOT with matching funds from LeadCo. Again, total cost or total grant package of over $7 million. And so we're excited to be able to move into the next phase. And so it's actually, when we applied for it, it was phases 2 and 3 because that's how the different sections were originally thought of. But we're able to lump phases 2 and 3 into actually one project. So phase 2 will extend from Eden Drive to the south behind Triple Creek, underneath Judson Road, to Johnson Street connecting to Guthrie Trail. This section will include 3 bridges, 2 on-street signalized pedestrian crossings. And the one thing that I do want to point out, we did have public hearings about phases 2 and 3. That was part of the grant requirement. And at the time of submission of our grant, we had to take it around Warwick Circle and back down to the south. But since that time, we've been able to align it along the creek, and so we don't have to go inside the residence. It'll be a direct route. So we're pretty excited to be able to do that, as the mayor had requested us to be able to take a look at and do. So phase 3 will then extend from McCann Road and Guthrie Trail underneath McCann to the trailhead at Borman and Highway 80. So that section will have 3 bridges. All told, if you get on at any one starting point, either at Highway 80 down at Cargill Long Trail or over at Borman, once this is completed, you'll be able to go 10 consecutive miles on trails, which is pretty phenomenal for all of Texas, not just East Texas and in Longview itself. So the underpass at Judson will be on the north side. You can see in the blue the approximate location of where the underpass will be for Judson Road. And then at McCann Street, it will be on the south side. And so if you're curious as to what that will look like, most likely, it's being designed similar to the one that we already have, which is on Borman Trail at H.G. Mosley. And so this is what it will look like, approximately. So the recommendation from staff is to award the contract to Leland Bradley Construction for a little over $4.5 million. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Any question, Mr. Karen?
I just have one thing. You know, a lot of the time I see we let these contracts and they go to people out of town. I'm just really pleased to see that this is going to a local contractor, and I sure appreciate that. Right. How long are we going to have to close down McCann or Judson to do these things?
Yeah, so part of the contract, that what we have required of them is that there will be two-lane traffic or 2 lanes of traffic, one in each direction, but they can't close both at the same time. So they'll work on McCann, it'll be 1 lane in each direction, and then Judson or flip-flop, we're not sure. Again, we haven't had the pre-construct. Once we have all this, we'll have the pre-construction meeting with the contractor to be able to determine what that schedule looks like, and we'll be able to push that out to the media and let all our community know exactly what's going to be happening when and when those timelines are.
Well, all I can say is congratulations to you, Mr. Karen, to the people that had the foresight to bring this forward, to LEEDCO, to those that worked with TxDOT. This is a phenomenal thing for our community. It's got so much potential that's just going to open up so many avenues for us, and I'm excited as I can be. The small ones that we have right now are so well utilized by our citizens. This is going to really change the way we see Longview and the way other people see Longview. So congratulations, thank you for your hard work, and keep up the good work.
Well, and it wouldn't be possible without Public Works. They're the primary driver behind all of the contract.
We're not going to say thank you to them. We're saying thank you to you, so. Not happening. No, I'm kidding. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. We will now consider various alternative resolutions establishing fees for residential and commercial sanitation customers. Mr. Archer.
Mayor, council members, Mr. Bonds, good evening and Happy New Year. At our last meeting, I discussed major changes that we've seen with the recycling. In 2012, Rivers Recycling was paying us $10 a ton. This year's budget, we budgeted that we would be paying them $20 a ton, but effective January 1st, it's gone to $65. And that's really what prompted me to come see you guys at our last meeting. So let's look at the options that we talked about last time. Initially, we discussed 3 options. I based these options on what would be required for the coming year's budget, basically considering the entire year. I certainly did not want to present any options to council that would not be sustainable. The rate changes that I proposed would be sustainable for the coming year, and these rates were considered to meet not only the increases in the recycling cost, but the unforeseen, or for the foreseeable cost that we expected in FY 21. Option 1 was an increase of $2.50 per customer per month. This revenue is required to meet not only the increased recycling cost, but the mattress disposal fee increases, as well as other costs like additional carts, increased vehicle maintenance, adjustments to lease payments, and capital expenses. Option 2 was revising the recycling program to a subscription service of $7. And then, of course, option 3 was discontinuing the recycling service. But after we talked to council, we came up with an option 1A. And this option would establish a $1.25 monthly increase to residential and commercial customers. This revenue would cover only the increased expenditures that we've seen for the recycling cost and for the mattress fees in this current fiscal year. Since we truly cannot predict the recycling market, We would then be able to review recycling as well as other expenditure increases with council as part of our normal budget process. We're fairly certain, though, that without any changes in the recycling market, additional increases would be warranted to meet the operational expenses. I've got this slide for you. The sanitation fund's an enterprise fund, and it must fund its operations from the rate. And we work diligently to ensure that we don't have rate increases. It's not something we like to do. I've included this slide just to show you where Longview falls with some of the other Texas communities considering the $2.50 rate increase. Even with this where we show here, which is very competitive, it doesn't really talk about the fact that we have a compost site that's available and many of these other communities do not. So with the expenditures and the way we've been able to keep them, I'm super proud of our team and been able to do that. So anyway, with that.
Mr. Archer, before you leave that slide.
Sure.
And correct me if I'm wrong, and I may be wrong.
Okay.
But when we look at our neighbor to the west, Tyler, their rate is higher than ours. They don't even have a recycling program. Is that correct?
They do, and it's a subscription service. Yes,
it's not,
and it's figured into here because we wanted to talk about what it costs to actually do recycling and
but theirs
garbage.
is a subscription program.
Yes, sir. And I'm fairly sure that they're going to increase it this year.
Yeah. Okay.
Pretty dramatically, I'm sure.
Very good. Okay, we're at question and answer time. But before we do that, I just want you all I want to bring this forward. You know, of course, I asked a survey question, and my survey question this week was obviously about the recycling options. And I didn't have I didn't have 1A in there, but, you know, I wish I would have. But if you look at the options here that I asked in my survey, my responses was 70% people would like to do the $250 per month. So, and that's not a hard and fast rule. That's just the survey response that I got. I got a nice survey response. So just want to put that out there before we continue along. And we need to look at this. And I know you all have all done your diligence, and you all have all talked to your constituents, and you all have your opinions. But we're going to have to make a decision on this tonight because we're already 9 days into this. So if there's discussion, please feel free to discuss now. Mr. Moore.
I'm in favor of the $1.25 increase. It covers the immediate costs necessary, and I think the appropriate time to look at fiscal 2021 is during the budget process for fiscal 2021. I am fairly convinced, looking at the numbers, that another rate increase will be required because paying for our capital costs out of current revenues, our 15% council adopted minimum fund balance, we're falling below that, and we can't do that. So at some point during the budget process in the summer, odds are we're going to have to go up again, but I think our customers, let's just hit them with $1.25 now and worry about 2021.
Well, because we don't know what 2021 is going to bring. The company might not even be in business in 2021. We don't know what their solvency is. We don't know where they're going to be. And so I'm with you, Mr. Moore. I'm not in favor of imposing anything more than we have to get by at this point to maintain our recycling program, because we don't know what the company's going to do or what the market's going to do. So let's don't gamble with things we don't know about, at least for now. So thank you for your comments. Anyone else?
What district does the most recycling?
Which district does most? Wildwood area is probably, those guys recycle quite a bit. They really do.
Well, I'm in favor of raising it up to the $1.25. What are we going to do if Rivers goes out of business?
We would not have an option. I have been looking at options, and I'm not finding anyone that's going to be willing to step in and cover it. Now, Republic may say, okay, we'll step in because they've got communities too that they want to provide recycling to. Mm-hmm. So if that happens, I'm sure we can work with them.
So how much of the recycled material that we send to them actually gets recycled? Do you have a percentage of that?
I do not. That is the struggle. I have asked them the question. They tell me between 18 and 25%. But I will go on record as saying that I've had many of my drivers say they have seen it just thrown in to roll-off. So
what
I'm very
is-
concerned by that. but-
What's to keep them from taking us in at $65 a ton and putting it in their dumpster and selling it to, or taking it to the landfill at $20 a ton and then pocketing the 40-something dollars in between?
There is nothing currently. This will prompt me to renew a contract with them with some stipulations about that. The contamination rate, though, is so hard to, it's really whatever, if they can sell it, then it's marketable. If they can't sell it, it's contamination. And so that could be all of it if they can't sell any of it. So that's a
But then
struggle.
it's still profitable for them at that point.
It is, yes, sir.
Very much so, by 2/3.
Yep.
So we're paying for them to stay in business at that point, if you look at it from that standpoint.
Right, yep.
I mean, I'm in favor of raising it $1.25, but if they go out of business and we can't find someone that can take that material, I want to rescind that money back to the taxpayers. I don't want to keep charging them every month for something they're not going to be able to get if we go back and look at this.
We wouldn't be able to, we would have to come back with that.
I mean,
Because we're putting it forward for a specific purpose.
Yeah.
If that purpose is no longer available, then we would have to, we would
Right.
adjust that at our next budget cycle.
Yes, and a big part of this is recycling, but also that mattress increase. Landfill came in and said, hey, we're going to, almost double your mattress charge. So we had to consider that in here as
I mean,
well.
I've had 8-to-1, 10-to-1 that are in favor of increasing it at the understanding it was $2.50. Now at $1.25, they're going to have a nice surprise for that, and I'm glad that staff was able to do that. But realistically, it's going to get worse.
That's why I think we're smart to just go with what we need now, and then we'll, if that's what council desires, then we'll jump over the next hurdle when the next hurdle is forced upon us, Mr. Archer,
Yes.
correct?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Wright?
My question is, at $1.25, are you covering all our costs for the rest of the financial year?
It'll get us through this year, and it's actually covering it through all of January.
Okay, so we're all right, all right.
We'll be good for this year, but like I said, next year, we'll have to look at some rate increase if recycling's still solvent, if it's still operating.
Now, is there any way that we could change what we're recycling? Say, we just say cardboard and aluminum cans. Would that help them?
We will be doing that. Regardless, I've been trying to work with them for some time to adjust what we actually take. I wanted them to do that with all of their customers. We struggled to get that done. But I think at this point, we start talking about going to $65 a ton. No, we need to address what we actually need to recycle in our community so that it helps them regardless of what they want. Because if they don't want to make that change, then it makes it look like they just want to take it to the landfill, and that's not what we want to do.
What is considered a contaminated?
If they can't sell it.
Well, that's what I mean. What makes it contaminated?
That's the definition. So if they have a pile of cardboard that is really great recycled material, but they can't sell it, it's considered contamination.
Not all recyclable products are recyclable. So you take it all in because it looks recyclable, but it's not all recyclable. Yeah. Is there any way we could see those options again?
Sure. See if I can back up. Oops. There you go, right there.
So the three options.
And then, of course, the fourth option is on the
was-
next page, but that's the $1.25.
Right. And from this was a real hot button item for everyone, and everyone got feedback on it, and everyone got response. For me, the majority of the feedback I got was, we most definitely want to do what we can to save our environment, and recycling is a major part of that. And, for the most part, even though the $2.50 was a hit for everyone would rather do our part. And so hearing that it'll be reduced to $1.25, I make my vote for the $1.25 fee. And we make the decision when we cross the bridge if something happens with this company.
Yes, sir.
I just want to make a real quick comment, just to make sure that I've expressed the feedback that I heard, which was overwhelming support to keep the program. And then also to reiterate something that Steve just mentioned, we are saying specifically the $1.25 is for recycling. We are postponing looking at raising the rates for other things that may come up here shortly. So if recycling does fall through, we're back talking about returning that $1.25 and not keeping that in place but maybe a rate increase for something else. And then second, something you just touched on, which was education for our community about what contamination means. So, putting in my grocery plastic bags is not a recyclable. I need to keep that out of the recycling bin. Putting in stuff that's contaminated by food. We need to have some sort of education program with our citizens that are using the recycling program so that we are fixing it as well as what's allowed in there, but just making sure that we are correctly communicating that, because I know I'm guilty of not putting all the right things in there. And then as I understand it, once you do that, that contaminates basically that whole
Right.
set.
And Rivers had advertised with us and told us, hey, 1 through 7 on plastics. And so people are doing that, 1 through 7. They just don't have markets for 1 through 7. So more than likely what we'll do is we'll go to 1 and 2 plastics only, aluminum cans, tin cans, and paper and cardboard.
But
And just go with that.
I think this is certainly the most fiscally responsible approach that we can have, keeping in mind what our job is. And the problem is larger than Longview. I mean, that's a global issue that needs to be addressed, and we'll just have to keep up and keep on top of it. So I think by allowing us to review this consistently and frequently, that's the best thing that we can do for our residents.
Well, Dwayne, I just want to say this. When you came to us at our last meeting, my response to you was, I don't like any of those options. I said, bring us another option. And by golly, y'all did that. And you brought us an option I think it's going to be very palatable to the city of Longview and to the residents and to us as a council. So thanks for listening to that and finding a creative solution to make it better. It's not perfect, but it's better, and I appreciate that very much.
Yes, sir.
Any other discussion, council? Is there a motion?
Move to approve the $1.25 option.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
We're now out of the community interest. Mr. Moore.
I would like to invite everybody to a town hall meeting on Tuesday, February 11th at 7 p.m. in the Pine Tree Community Center. I'll take the opportunity to update everybody on the bond projects that affect West Longview, particularly some new drawings for McWhorter Park, and then just a general discussion of what's going on in District 1. So everybody please come.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Snoddy.
Nothing tonight, Mayor.
Mr. Wade.
Yes, I have a few things to discuss. Heading into January, on Saturday, January 18th at 10 a.m., it's Martin Luther King Jr. community-wide celebration and parade. We will be accepting parade entries until January 16th. It's $10 per entry. For information, please contact Broad and Recreation Center at 903-237-1276 or the Parks Department at 903-237-1270. Just to give you an idea of some of the community events that will be happening that day, on that Saturday, there's a council program at Galilee Baptist Church at 6:30 on that Saturday. Sunday at First Baptist Church Longview, there's a speaker, Pastor Brandon Owens of Bethel Baptist Church will be there at 6:30 p.m. Sunday. And then Monday at 11:30 a.m. is the march from Broughton Recreation Center to Mount Olive Baptist Church. And I would like to invite everyone to come out, take part of that. The MLK Day parade and events are really, really special, not only to the town, but to the community of South Longview as well. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Ishihara.
I also have a town hall meeting coming up on Thursday, January 16th at 6 p.m. at Winterfield United Methodist Church. I hope that you will join me there. We will do similar things to what Mr. Moore mentioned, an update on bond projects as well as other exciting projects happening in District 4. So hope you can join us.
Thank you. Mr. Wright.
Nothing tonight, Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Purtle.
I want to thank y'all for excusing me last time. I was a little under the weather. The hot topic of discussion that happened, I couldn't have been more pleased the way it came out, so probably a good thing that I wasn't here. So anyway, thank y'all for taking care of me.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Bonds.
I don't have anything.
Well, our annual Martin Luther King Community Celebration, like Mr. Wade said, will be Saturday the 18th, but the city offices will be closed on January the 20th, just so we know. Donations are needed for our Homeless Resource Day on Thursday, January the 23rd. We have upcoming events, Wild Kratts Live 2.0, Friday, January 17th. Alleyways Beer Bus, Saturday, January 18th. Freeze Your Fanny 2020, Saturday, February the 1st. More information, go to longviewtexas.gov/calendars or longviewtexas.com/events. We do have the other half of my survey. Which was your favorite thing to do over the holidays in Longview? Go to the Christmas parade, Carmela's Magical Santa Land, Christmas tree lighting downtown, museum, trains, movies, spend time with family. Well, I love our community. Overwhelmingly, spend time with your family. That's the thing to do on the holidays. But look at the other things that we did. People did a lot of things. So people did all of these things, and that's great to have opportunities and options to go out and do other things and just see what we have in our great community. So I appreciate that, and I look forward to this upcoming year. 2020 hopefully will be a wonderful, prosperous year for our community. Our citizens are always so helpful in supporting the things that we do, and I hope that continues throughout the year. So I wish us all a prosperous new year, and I thank you all for your service and dedication to this council and to the citizens of Longview. Thank you all for being here. So until next time, we are adjourned. Oh, we are not adjourned. We have an executive session, deliberations regarding real property under Texas Government Code Section 551.072. We will consider the purchase of value of real property located in Alex Jordan Survey, City of Longview, Texas, Gregg County. We will not reconvene after the executive session is completed. Now we're adjourned.